This is a continuation of part 1 of constructing a hexagon. In part 2, the first thing that I did to construct hexagon A, B, C, D, E, or what I continue to do, was I connected point A to point B to point C to point D, and on around the circle. And because these are radii, I know that each one of these segments are congruent. We know some other things about these angles as well, because when we have an angle that's inscribed in a circle, we know that the measure of this angle is half the measure of the arc. Now, we haven't talked about arcs before, but every time that I drew a segment, I also had an arc out here. Now, we have 6 segments, which means I have 6 arcs. So if you have 6 arcs in a circle, and a circle is 360 degrees, then if I divide 6 into 360, I find that each one of these arcs would be a 60-degree arc. 60 degrees, 60, 60, 60, 60, 60. So if I were to take 60, 60, 60, and 60, and I were to add up these degrees, I would get 240 degrees for the arc that this particular angle at F would intercept. But the measure of this arc will be half of that 240. So the measure of angle F will equal 1/2 the measure of arc ACE. Notice I have to use 3 letters to name my arc to let you know that I'm going around the circle in this direction. So since arc ACE totals 240 degrees, one half of 240 degrees would be 120 degrees. And we can check that with our protractor. Let's measure this angle at F, and we see, if I get it lined up right, that is a 120-degree angle. Now, you're going to notice that we have 6 angles that total 120 degrees. So if you needed to know the measure of the angles of a hexagon, you would have, because this is a regular hexagon, because all of these 6 sides are congruent, you would have the measure of all of these interior angles would be 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120 plus 120, or 6 times 120. So the measure of the angles of hexagon A, B, C, D, E, F equals 6 times 120, or 720 degrees. Now, I'm sure you're learning a lot of other ways to do that as well. I'm sure your teacher is going to share much with you about this.